Hello, it's your neighborhood doctor, Dr. Mindbender, known by my true government, John Mack. And I'm here to open up some dialogue with you guys today, like I usually do. But something more intriguing, something more open to the heart, something that speaks to the indigenous people of the planet, as well as others who have maybe confused as to why there are no slave ships in any museums. I mean, allegedly, we had over 20,000 ships sail across the ocean blue from 1492 under the stewardship of Christopher Colon, aka Christopher Columbus. But yet, they have million-year-old dinosaur bones.
Was short. But the life expectancy for
But
the
no
slaves,
slave ships.
once they had landed in the Americas, was no more than 2 to 3 years. So keep that in mind as you watch this map evolve and move as the dots go from Africa to the New World. Every dot represents, in a modern sense, a jumbo jet falling out of the sky. 20,000 ships you will see fly across the screen compressed into less than a minute. 12 million slaves, 20% of which perished during the voyage, and 20% of whom were children. So let us watch in silence and in horror as the slave trade unfolds.
Now look at all the years that allegedly the slave trade happened, coming from Europe down to the middle of West Africa, then traveling back upstream to South America, Central America, and North America. With disease, not knowing which current is going where, the coral reef which breaks ships up into splinters, and a host of other issues such as feeding these people.
So there you have it. Clearly, can you imagine what we face?
Yeah, I could imagine what you face, a whole bunch of fucking lies and backlash, you demon. But anyways, outside of a host of problems like disease, sickness, parasite, period blood, feces, and urine, they expected children, which was 20% of all the cargo, he said, to survive that, which are just as vulnerable as old people. And they also expected that on top of the other 20% that perished,
Clearly, can you imagine
that you would take a 40% risk of loss of cargo to do all that traveling. Not to mention, how many guards on a ship did it take to keep everybody intact from mutiny? Sounds like a bunch of bullshit. But if you read all of the information that I put in the video, you'll have to pause it, stop, and selectively read. Do some of your own research. You'll notice that the Black Plague of 1350 all the way up until the 1800s wiped out more than 60 to 70% of European populations. And if you look at this diagram right here, not an actual ship, but the diagram, you notice that these people have long, curly, straight hair, sometimes straight noses. When the African from West Africa would have been of the Bantu peoples, would have had matted hair close to the head. The men would have been bald and the women would have had short hair. Now, these people actually look like the frozen people that they could have kept in the snow in Europe. And let me tell you how. So therefore, the plague destroyed Europe so bad, wiped out more than 60% of their population, that they couldn't even bury all of the people. They would bury them in layers of dirt like lasagna. They would bury them in castles. They would bury them anywhere they could. So my theory is that they put all of these frozen European dead carcasses from the plague on barges and boats and shipped them to North and South America directly from Europe, downstream, down ocean, following a current and a wind, going towards the South Pole, okay? As opposed to trying to travel straight across and upstream. Makes no sense. They used those dead bodies when they got here to the Americas for germ warfare. Look up the Battle of Kaffa, okay? Look up when they tried to allegedly blame the Mongols for flinging feces and catapulting dead plague bodies over gates, okay? No, what happened is they're blaming other people for their misnomers and their disgusting ways, which was to load bodies up on barges. And a lot of times the guys that were sailing the ships would get captured into slavery, and the Native Americans would have them doing work, as you can plainly see here in this picture at the very end. But how do you defeat a war full of warrior-like men already? You poison them. Germ warfare was the tactic that was used to overrule America and take over the indigenous people that were already here on this land. And that's how we lost that war. So do your research. Peace and blessings.